Yeti Cooler is an Austin-based company. They reported earnings back on August 1st, and they IPO just recently in October of 2018. But Andy, we're very familiar with the Yeti brand here at the office, and personally, I was thrilled that you wanted to talk about them today. So tell us, what's going on with Yeti?
Yeah, pretty recent IPO, great company that, like you said, everybody knows and most people love the product. When we look at LikeFolio purchase intent mentions, which is people talking about actually buying Yeti products, you can see they really burst on the scene in the middle of 2015. Really nice increase there for them. Year over year, we've seen declines since then. It's really tough to keep up with a massive hype cycle like that. And so we saw year over year declines kind of going into the IPO. They seem to have stabled things out. And now we're just starting to see at least early indications that maybe we'll get our first year-over-year increase in purchase intent mentions for the company, which can be a really big deal. And again, this is very similar to the company that I talked about on Tuesday here on the show, iRobot, where it seems like the stock is being held back in a very big way because of their reliance on manufacturing in China. And so this is another one that I put in the category of put it on your watch list. If we get a 2020 China resolution, this is a stock that could really pop because it's starting to make a comeback with consumers while Wall Street holds the stock down.
Andy, these things are $30 for a cup. Jenny Horn has a bigger one that she said she paid $60 for. This reminds me of the Canada Goose coats in terms of, come on, with the prices of these things and how long, is this really a long-term market for something priced so expensive for basically an insulated cup, right?
Yeah, well, they've expanded a lot into coolers and some of these other types of. It's not just cups.
Okay.
And the coolers are very, very high quality. I think that they make an extremely high quality product with great brand recognition. I think it's foolish to bet against companies that carve out that type of niche for themselves, because once they have China stuff figured out, the margins on these are actually very, very good. They can get away with charging a lot more for a quality product than some of their competitors. And people tend to resonate with the brand, and it seems to be making a comeback, which is always a really good sign.
Kevin, it's funny that you compare it to a company like Canada Goose, because I would say you're kind of exactly right. It's sort of that, Lululemon or even Starbucks. It's a more expensive, higher quality product that's really sort of become a status symbol with its brand name. But Andy, I have this tweet for you. It says, second quarter is going to show they have tons of competition in both coolers and drinkware. There is zero long-term moat in this business because anyone can make coolers, drinkware like them for less margin. And I think this kind of comes back to the vast amount of competition in this market as far as tumblers, as far as coolers. But so what would you say? How do they fare with the competition, even if it's other high quality products?
Yeah, I think, increasing competition is always a threat. I think when you see people that put Apple stickers on the back of their car window, it's not necessarily because they believe Apple is a superior product. There's some brand identity there, and the same thing is going on with Yeti. You see people with Yeti stickers on the back of their pickup truck. It's a signaling mechanism. It's a brand that people want to be associated with. It's a lifestyle that people want to be associated with. And I do think that they have an advantage in terms of their product technology and what they're rolling out. It's a little early to say whether or not Yeti is going to, completely defend its moat and see increases from here. But what we're saying right now is we're seeing the beginnings of what looks like a turnaround in year-over-year purchase intent declines. Historically, when we've seen that type of turnaround occur, stocks rally considerably over the next 2 or 3 years. We saw it with Weight Watchers a few years ago. We've seen it with some other kind of name brands. And so even though this is a fairly recent IPO, down around $30, is certainly down around 24, 25. This was one worth looking at. I think it will be as we go into 2020 if we get a China resolution.
I might be a little bit of a late adopter on some of their products here. I guess I wasn't as familiar with this company. I obviously was aware of some of the things that it made. I didn't realize that it had such a strong brand recognition. Some of the companies that we're comparing it to right now, think about it: Apple, Starbucks, Lululemon. There's plenty of competition for all of those companies, and the real difference is that they're able to weather that storm and create this brand loyalty that you're talking about, Andy, and really dominate the space. I mean, we're talking about Lululemon continues higher, earnings release after earnings release, creating, athleisure wear. All these companies can make that too, but Lululemon continues to dominate because of that brand loyalty.
Yeah, I think what happens is, and Evelyn brought up a great point. I mean, the comparison to Canada Goose that Kevin brought up, very good comparison, because sometimes the high quality of the item can actually come back to bite you because it's tough to get repeat sales. But I think Yeti's doing a pretty good job of expanding their product line. A lot of people start with the 32-ounce, drink that they, or I guess you call it a cup. I'm really not sure. Insulated cup that they carry around. And then, when they go out to shop for a cooler or something like that that's much more expensive, they may splurge on the Yeti brand because they've had a good experience with the drinkware and so on. So I think there's something to be said for the expanding product line that some competitors may not match. There's a lot of knockoffs, but right now there's only one Yeti.
I think you stole my notes, Andy. I had almost the exact same things written down about the Apple comparison with the high quality problems, and then too that brand loyalty, getting people with the less expensive products like tumblers, like me, and then one day when I can afford a $400 cooler, you know where I'm going to go because I trust the product. And that's what this next tweet says as well. They actually work much better. We go to Burning Man and boat 5 days a week. The Yetis maintain ice for 3 days, even in the desert. Regular cooler, not even a full day at Burning Man. And that's what it really comes down to. You can leave a Yeti tumbler, a Yeti cooler for however long, and the ice is still there. Your drink is still cold, and that's what you need from a product like this.
All they need now is for Oprah to use Yeti coolers, and the stock is off to the races.
Well, that's actually a really good point, because I think that we are entering a critical time for Yeti. They always have, it's a cyclical business. They always have increased sales in the summer, as you would expect. And now we go into holiday gift-giving season. If they can put another leg up into the holiday gift-giving season, that means that the brand truly is gaining back some of that cachet and traction that it had before. And I think we all should definitely congratulate Trebers. She definitely wants us to know that she goes to Burning Man.
Yeah, here's the last thing that may have just switched me over to the Yeti team, is that if I can ice down a cooler full of cold drinks and it lasts for 3 days, all right, that might be a game changer.
Look at that Shiner Bock. Come on, it's keeping that beer cold.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that might be a game changer.
Andy, the one thing that you mentioned too, you talked about its exposure to China. You can't underscore that enough. I mean, just look at the price action today on those conflicting China headlines. The stock rallied up to 31.81 and then sold back off almost $1.30 here. So it's clearly you got the exposure there, and that's something we got to continue to watch. But with earnings not coming out till the end of November, looking at your data here, is this one that you're just monitoring alongside the China news, or is there some type of a call going into this over the next couple months?
We're monitoring it, but I'm going to say I'm leaning bullish. If we can get that next month or so of purchase intent data to give us another leg up, or even maintain the summer highs, that would be an enormous win for Yeti going into the gift giving season, and give me a lot of confidence that this is a great name to have on your China resolution list.